The support class in Hell Let Loose is one of the most appreciated and versatile roles in the entire game. Although the support class isn't centered on their ability in direct combat, the assistance that a member with the support role can provide to their squad, as well as their entire team as a whole, is an absolutely critical part of winning games. This class personally appeals to me because I'm able to assist other classes such as engineers and squad leaders to help ensure that the proper equipment, resources, and respawn points can be established inside of the game, which helps the entire team be more effective as a whole. Before I begin, I would like to mention that there are many different styles and ways people play the game. I'm not suggesting that this is the best way to play or what should be done. This video is designed to provide some general information about the support class, their weapons and equipment, and for me to share some helpful tips and tricks from what I was personally able to learn in my experience of playing the support role. With that being said, I want to thank you for joining me in my guide that explains everything about the support role inside of Hell Let Loose. Like I mentioned, the support role is one of the most valued roles in the game, and the equipment that they carry is an essential part of the defense and fortification of sectors and objectives. Members of the support role are equipped with a crate of supplies. Having supplies is important because they're required to be placed down before any other class are able to build anything. As an example, squad leaders and the commander can build garrisons, which are spawn points that the entire team can utilize. Anti-tank members can assemble a static anti-tank gun. Additionally, the engineer role is dependent on supplies to be able to build literally anything from their class. Things such as barbed wire, fortification walls, and most importantly, resource nodes. I plan to make a video on the engineer class that covers how resource nodes work in more detail, but just for some context for this video, resource nodes are deployable objects that, once built, provide resources to the commander every minute. The commander then can use these resources to spend on abilities such as supply drops, bombing runs, spawning in vehicles, etc. I know I mentioned a lot there, but the important thing to take away from that is the supplies that the support role can provide are necessary for building literally anything on the battlefield. I'll cover more about supplies in detail in a few moments, but first, let's talk about the weapons and equipment that the support class uses. The support role has two different loadouts. The first one that is unlocked immediately is called the standard issue loadout. The second one that is unlocked at level 3 is called the ammo carrier loadout. And unlike the medic role, the second class is called by the same name for all three different factions. For the standard issue loadout, the primary weapon is the standard issue infantry rifle for all three factions. The M1 Garand for the United States, the Kar 98K for Germany, and the Mosin Nagant 9130 for the Soviet Union. Each of these weapons come with 12 clips of ammunition. While it's technically the same number of reloads, the M1 Garand has 8 rounds per clip instead of 5, so it totals to 96 rounds for the United States, but only 60 for Germany and the Soviet Union. The support role does not carry a secondary weapon. The standard issue loadout also carries 2 fragmentation grenades. Additionally, all of the classes for support carry 2 bandages for healing yourself or to stop another teammate from bleeding. The supplies box is the crate of supplies that the support role carries. Like I mentioned earlier, this box can be placed down and allow engineers, squad leaders, and sometimes anti-tank personnel to build whatever they need on the battlefield. This box contains approximately 50 units of supplies, and I'll cover what this means in more detail in a moment. Also keep in mind that you can only have one supplies box down at a time. So if your box has been unused when the timer runs out, and you decide to place a second one down, your first box will disappear. Once placed down, anybody who needs to build something can do so as long as they're within a 50-meter radius of the supply box or one of the other supply sources. The cooldown for placing down a box of supplies is 5 minutes. This timer does not reset when you die. With this being said, if the player walks within 50 meters of an active manpower resource node, this cooldown is reduced by half, or 2.5 minutes. The support class is also equipped with a hammer. This hammer is used to build any one of the structures that the engineer role sets down a blueprint for. A blueprint needs to be placed down before anyone can use their hammer. Additionally, the hammer cannot be used as a melee weapon. The second loadout for all factions, which is unlocked at level 3, is called the ammo carrier loadout. The ammo carrier loadout's primary weapons differ from the standard issue. Instead of the standard rifles for each faction, the United States and Germany are equipped with submachine guns, the M3 Grease Gun for the US and the MP40 for Germany, respectively. Each of these come with 6 30-round magazines of ammo, however running out of ammunition isn't necessarily a problem with this loadout, which I'll explain in a minute. For the Soviet Union, instead of a submachine gun, the ammo carrier loadout is equipped with the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle. At first, I felt this was a strange choice since a lot of the other infantry classes are equipped with the PPSH-41 submachine gun. However, in practice, the SVT-40 is very effective at providing defensive support and additional suppressive fire. Obviously, the ammo carrier loadout still has your supplies box. In addition, this loadout allows you to carry and place down 2 different kinds of ammo that yourself or your teammates can use to resupply. The first kind of ammo box is called the small ammunition box. The small ammunition box, once placed down, resupplies ammunition to primary and secondary weapons. This is why I mentioned earlier that running out of ammo isn't so much of an issue with this class, because you can drop ammo for both yourself and teammates once low. The second kind of ammo that is carried is called the explosive ammo box. The explosive ammo box can resupply grenades, both fragmentation and smoke, satchel charges, and can also resupply rockets, such as the bazooka and the Panzerschreck. This is especially helpful for the anti-tank class, since the United States and Germany can only fire 2 rockets before needing the resupply. Both of these boxes of ammo, similar to the supplies box, have a 5-minute cooldown that is not reset by dying. Also similar to the supplies box, this cooldown is reduced by half when the player walks within 50 meters of an active munitions resource node. This loadout doesn't have grenades or a secondary weapon, however it still has the hammer and 2 bandages. Personally, I strongly prefer using the ammo carrier class. I feel that the weapons are better for suppressive fire and defending points. Additionally, having the ability to drop both regular and explosive ammo alongside the supplies dramatically increases the effectiveness that I can support my team. Even though the support role has the firepower to be effective on the front line and help take objectives, I personally enjoy playing more on a defensive approach, setting supplies down for the engineers to help fortify the point, helping set up garrisons and nodes to provide the team with more resources, etc. I also feel that the submachine guns from the United States and Germany are very effective at defending points when they come under attack. So now that I've covered the weapons and equipment for support, let's talk about the supplies more in detail. As I mentioned earlier, the supplies box that the support loadout carries contains 50 units of supplies. Each item, such as a garrison or an engineered deployable, will have a certain number of units of supplies required in order to be built. As an example, a resource node requires 50 supplies in order to be built. Once you set down the supplies box, any member within a 50-meter radius of the box can use the supplies, so it's important to make sure you're attentive of where you're setting down the supply box.
Yeah, maybe the wall.
Other than the supply box that the support role carries, there are a few other ways that supplies can be brought to the battlefield. One way is from a supply drop that can be ordered by the commander. A supply drop can be deployed anywhere on the map, which is then parachuted down. Each supply drop contains 100 supply units, or the equivalent of 2 support boxes. The supply drop is a great way to get extra supplies on a point for building defenses or another garrison spawn point. The only downside is that the supply drop is visible to everybody while falling, including the enemy. Another way is from a supply truck, which is also ordered by the commander. Once spawned, the supply truck can be driven anywhere and contains 2 supply crates that can be dropped. Each supply crate has 150 supply units for a total of 300. Supply trucks are a great way to transport large amounts of supplies. Just be careful about enemy infantry and armor. Just to provide some context for the distribution of supplies and how much each item costs, each garrison respawn point and friendly territory costs 50 supplies to be built, the same number as a resource node. If inside enemy territory, the garrison costs 100 supplies to be built, double the amount as if in friendly controlled territory. Engineers can build fortifications and other deployable items such as barbed wire, walls, bunkers, and repair stations. These can cost anywhere from 30 to 75 supplies to build, depending on the item, and cost additional supplies to upgrade. Now that we've covered the support class in detail, let's get into some tips and tricks that I've personally picked up while playing support.
Don't lose hope in our
The first tip that I have is to remember that dropping your supplies as well as either the ammo boxes adds points to your support effectiveness score. Also, anytime a teammate resupplies from your ammunition boxes or uses your supplies, you get additional points to your support effectiveness score. This score directly translates into more experience for you at the end of the game, so keep this in mind. With this being said, it's important to not place down supplies or ammo in random locations where it's inaccessible to teammates. One of the best ways to be effective as a support player is to coordinate where to set your supplies or ammo down. Regarding supplies, I personally think that a great place to set them down is next to another supply drop or boxes of supplies that are directly on the point. The supplies, either from supply drop or the crate, once placed down are immobile. This means that the engineer is already going to start building within a 50-meter radius from that location, and having your supplies there in addition means that they have more resources available to them. The second tip that I have is to prioritize garrisons. Placing down a garrison near the point of defense is imperative for the team to be able to effectively defend it. With this being said, keep in mind that any squad leader, as well as the commander, has the ability to place garrisons. If there is not a garrison built near the point where we're trying to defend, I'll use the squad radio or local voice chat and coordinate with a squad leader to help build one. As an example, I'll ask, "Hey squad lead, if I place down supplies, will you build a garrison?" Here's an example of me working with the commander to build a garrison on a point where there wasn't one. Commander, I'm gonna go with you. I'll just drop down supplies where you want them if you want to build a Gary.
I do indeed. Go. All right, support man. You still? Yeah, right up here in a second. Hang on. Don't drop him just yet. Right here, right here.
There you go. Thanks, Commander.
Thank you.
When support, you have the opportunity to directly coordinate with the engineer role as well, since their ability to build fortifications is directly reliant on supplies. As support, you're also equipped with a hammer, so you can act as sort of an assistant engineer and help build the blueprints the engineer class places down. Having multiple teammates building simultaneously decreases the time at which the fortifications can be built. Additionally, if you can, try to convince the engineer to build a manpower resource node first. Once a manpower resource node is built, you and any other support that walk in a 50-meter radius of it has their supply cooldown timer cut in half, which allows for supplies to be placed down quicker. The final tip I have, specifically for the ammo carrier loadout, is to not be afraid to suppress the enemy on defense. Since you're carrying small ammo boxes, you can replenish your ammo every 5 minutes anyways. It's a good opportunity to use your weapon for suppressive fire to help keep the enemy's heads down, as well as you can get the occasional headshot. Oh my god, I just got a headshot there. And that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and was able to learn something about the support class. I do ask that if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. This helps with the analytics of YouTube and allows the video to reach more people. I would like to take a quick moment to thank the members in the Hell Let Loose Discord for the support that they have given me on my last video, which covers the medic role. If you would like to see this video, I'll leave a link in the description. I do also plan to make a video for the engineer role. I'm very excited for this one because it's very likely that the engineer role is going to get the new model of 1897 Winchester Trench shotgun added to their loadout. However, please let me know in the comments if there are any other aspects of the game that you would like to see me cover. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this video could help you and enjoy playing Hell Let Loose.